Just a couple of guys, a couple of microphones, and a heck of a lot of know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of what the hell am I doing? Episode of Football on the No Show. Man, Joe, we haven't done this show. It seems like we never do this show now, but we have, but it's so sporadic. I'm even losing my mojo here. But this is Football on the No Show. I am Jim McPhee. Of course, over there, laughing his ass off, is Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, know-it-alls? Welcome back for another edition, and a very comical one at that.
Yes, already. It's going to be that kind of night.
Football on the No Show for you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We are going to get into some football topics for you guys. As always, we're also going to get into some of the games. We're going to go through a little bit of review, and we're going to give you our picks for the upcoming week. And if you haven't done so already, would really appreciate it. And it would help us tremendously. Let YouTube know that we exist. Head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us, hit the likes, make sure you hit the thumbs up there. And then also don't forget, we are live, so comment down below. Every comment that you guys put down below, we are going to react to, whether it be a question or just an opinion about something we're talking about, or even if you want to talk about something else, we'll do that for you guys out there as well. So thank you guys for joining us. And if you really want to, you don't have to, but if you really want to, you could also follow us on X at FB_no. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Joe, this week was a lot different than last week, man. When we thought, we knew some teams here and looking at some, we've got the opposite. The Bengals, kept it close against the Chiefs. Probably should have won that game.
They definitely
there's
should have
some, questionable calls in that game as well.
As always.
And then also, Joe Burrow and company, they look pretty good. They almost had it, but now they're sitting at 0-2. And there's a lot of like 9 teams, I think, that are 0-2 right now. So let's see if someone can bounce back and make a run for the playoffs here. Surprisingly enough, the Baltimore Ravens now are 0-2 as well, due to the loss to your Las Vegas Raiders, Joe.
That's right. Take that, Baltimore fans. No, honestly, I didn't expect it either. Honestly, I mean, I know my team. I know what to expect from the Raiders. They're not there yet. They're not ready to contend for, deep into the playoffs, or maybe, some long stretch of the imagination they'll make wild card. But again, a lot of things have to happen right for them. And I never thought that they would go to Baltimore, mind you, not stay in Vegas and beat the Ravens. No, they had to travel to Baltimore, which typically and historically the Raiders lose miserably on those 1 o'clock games on the East Coast. So surprise to me, but it happened, and we're going to move on. Just like a lot of other teams have to move on. A lot of the 0-2 teams that you talk about, there's a select few that have a chance to turn it all around, right? Like there's, like you brought up the Bengals, the Ravens even. Like those 2 teams, we foresaw them to be a competitor, a contender, if you will, for the playoffs and postseason. So I don't have concerns with them right now. It's too early. It's only 2 weeks into the season. I know that there's some fans out there that are already smashing the panic button and saying, this is not good. This is not what we were told was going to happen. And things look dismal right now, but they'll figure it out. They'll get the ship turned right around.
Yeah, absolutely. They're too good not to. Look at the personnel that's there too,
Yeah.
Joe. So I mean, it'd be surprising if they don't. We had some good games last week, though. There's definitely some
lot of surprises
here and some prizes here. Yeah, unfortunately, Thursday night's game. Well, for one, Miami didn't look good at all against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills absolutely showed up and just dominated that team. They couldn't do anything right. I mean, they're trying to run the ball, couldn't get it going, and then they abandoned it just about pretty much. Tried to get it in the passing game, and Tua was just getting pressured all over. And unfortunately, in the the end of that game, but pretty much getting towards the end as he's trying to make a push to try and get back in this game from behind. He scrambles and it goes head first, and now there he is concussed once again. So sadly enough, he's out on injury reserve for a little bit to recover. So thoughts and prayers with Tua actually here for him and his family right now. So much so, once it happened, people were instantly kind of debating whether or not he should even just retire and hang it up after having that many so close in time, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of overreaction, and I do understand it, from a safety perspective, a health perspective, that people automatically would assume. Even I assumed, I'm like, dude, this doesn't look good. Like, he might be done. Like, you have to ask yourself that question, is he done? And he's already seen a neurologist. He's gone through and seen team doctors, and they've all come to the assumption of that he's not in any extra danger or anything like that going forward to continue to play, or at least that's what's kind of reading the tea leaves from the outside in. That's what it seems like, because they just put him on IR, and they're going to rest him for 4 weeks, and then 5 weeks later they'll bring him back. They'll probably have another discussion, and he'll be playing with the Dolphins yet again. So I would say, if there was any doubt on the neurologist's part, then you have to give your opinion to the team. Be like, listen, this was another really bad concussion. This is too soon to have another concussion now with the track record that he has. And not saying that he can't play, but what I am saying is that there's got to be major life concerns, major brain injury concerns if he is to have another one, and it might be a good idea to shut it down. Like, if that was the conversation, then you as a team, it's a human being. So, like, his family, himself, like, you need to think about him as not as a product that you put on a field. You need to think of him like, okay, this is a person, we do care about him, and because of that, we should probably shut him down. If there was a danger of him in that situation, then I feel like the story would have already come out now, and they would have said, okay, well, Tua's going to retire. We're going to pay him his guaranteed money. And the other interesting thing that I just found out is that Tua actually has a insurance policy out on himself, about $49 million or so, where if he was to suffer another concussion and get hurt, and then he ends his career that way, he gets paid that too in his insurance policy. So, yeah, it's a serious thing, but we'll have to monitor that as we get closer to his return. But, yeah, it's definitely something that's concerning for sure.
Yeah, you see a lot of guys do insurance policies on, body parts and stuff. We've seen that for a few years now, certain guys, put in insurance policies on their quads and things like that.
Did you even hear about there's some guys that do insurance policies on their production? You ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That is a thing.
Even college players, they'll put an insurance policy on, I don't go any lower than the fifth pick. Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
It is weird.
But you can do that when you have the money.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
you pay the premium all at once.
Thing. Huh. Interesting.
See what happens. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff happens.
Right. I wonder what insurance company covers all that. Like, a certain company that's just going to do that. Like
Pro Athletics Insurance.
There you go. I guess. Oh boy. So yeah, the Miami Dolphins are dealing with that, so it's going to be a rough patch for them. They did sign Tyler Huntley and stuff, but who knows how quick he can get acclimated. Yeah, it's kind of funny, you forget the guys like that are out there, and he's kind of been one of those guys that, as a backup, kind of stepped up and has made some plays when he had to, backing up for Lamar Jackson, things like that. But just, it's funny that he's floating out there, how he's still not good enough to be a backup for some of these.
He was on the practice squad for Baltimore. He wasn't out there as a free agent.
Okay.
But he was on. But to my surprise is that he was on the practice squad, not the roster, not the active roster. So that was a little weird to me.
Yeah. What else we would say? How about Oh, here we go. Yeah, Mike Tackett in the house. How about Mike Tackett can?
Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, everybody, the OG know-it-all himself, Mike Tackett. What's going on, Mike? He said, team doctors are not league employees. They're employees of the team owner. Could this be something where we see Tua go after Stephen Ross for giving Tua the thumbs up prematurely? Any reputable doctor never would have cleared Tua. But here's the thing. It's not just the team doctors, I don't think. I thought there was a independent neurologist that he went and saw. Mm-hmm. Maybe, Mike, you might have some intel on that, because that's what I was led to believe, is that he had seen a neurologist that was independent from the team. I mean, I don't and if that's the case, then that's where you have that conversation where they're like, oh, he's okay, like he'll be fine. You can continue playing if you wish, but just be aware, like, this is not a good thing, though. I'm not saying that he should play. I'm just saying that he has the ability to, like, I wonder how that conversation went, like how it really went, right? You'll never be able to be a fly on the wall and listen to that. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the Dolphins and Tua and his family kind of go forward. But we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out.
Another upset here, I guess. Well, not really an upset. Big game here in Dallas. The New Orleans Saints here. They destroyed the Carolina Panthers week 1. And some people want to say, all right, well, now they're playing the Cowboys. Cowboys and Big D. I know. I thought the Cowboys were going to win at home the way that defense was playing too. I thought it was going to be a close game, though, and it wasn't. It was actually the other way. The Saints absolutely demolished the Cowboys, so I was having a grand old time. How good are the New Orleans Saints now? I mean, they're going to keep rolling here until they run into another one of those playoff contenders, and then we'll see what happens there. But they look like a different team here.
Yeah, Saints are definitely a different team from last year. You think about the new offensive coordinator. That plays a huge role in this offense alone, with Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara. And even like last season, like, yes, was Carr at his best? No. Was Kamara at his best? No, he was banged up all the time. And then when he was healthy, he didn't really do much in terms of production. So, Pete Carmichael, as seen as one of the worst offensive minds now in football. Well, now he's unemployed, but and rightfully so. But Clint Kubiak comes over from the 49ers, brings in a new mindset on offense, brings in creativity on offense, and it is taking off. It has helped this Saints offense revitalize themselves, get a big boost this season. So far, I know it's only 2 weeks, but we'll see how this trend keeps going, because the Saints, they got another tough matchup this week, and that'll be another kind of like a testing ground for the Saints. But things are looking real good in New Orleans, and they've put it together. And then the defense has kind of followed suit. Like they've seemed to, like, now they're playing much better. Marshawn Lattimore is still banged up. He played one game, and that guy might be missing the lineup again this week. But again, all in all, that team is, as a whole, is playing so much better, and they're really kind of taking over both weeks. They've just managed to just take over each team. Yeah,
definitely. Mike
Gooby in the
Gooby's
house.
in the house with us tonight.
What's going on, Gooby? He said, remember when I told you guys the Browns weren't as bad as you said they were, and they beat Jacksonville? Pepperidge Farms remembers. Well, here's the thing: is I never said the Browns were bad.
He said that
I was on not. And if anything,
Gooby,
I was on the Cleveland's like hype train. So
I mean, this is what's funny. I think I picked Jacksonville, but it was even before this that Gooey went out there and he said, listen, after he had said his point, he said, I am not will not be surprised if the Browns beat Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He said it. First of all, he said, "Am I crazy to think that the Browns can beat Jacksonville?"
No, I didn't think so either.
So
no, I didn't think so. No, absolutely not.
You're good, Gooby. We appreciate you chiming in.
Check the tape just to double check, but I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? Go back, watch the other episode.
I know. Listen,
we
I like the Browns
the
before.
Browns. We like the defense. I was questionable about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
he still has more to prove as we go on. But look at Jacksonville. They don't look very good, and Trevor Lawrence is going out on press conferences and telling everybody that we suck, and which is not good for the team.
Well, they suck, not we suck.
Yeah, not we suck. Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't care if even Trevor Lawrence brought up our name, said Jim and Joe from Football on the No Show suck.
That would be great
that would
PR
be great
for us.
PR, absolutely.
They'll be like, wait, who's that? Let's go check him out.
Like, screw you, Anyway, so yeah, Carolina sucked so bad that they're making the switch now. No more Bryce Hall. He's getting benched for Andy Dalton in Carolina. Dave Canales making that switch and hopefully trying to save his job because he just got started. But
yeah, he's a rookie
he wants
coach.
to win now, and obviously we talked about this last night on our other show. He said that this wasn't his guy. He got this job knowing that guy was there. Right. He's going to see what he has in him, move forward. He's obviously seen enough, I guess. He's like, I've seen enough.
Gooby said, "You guys have a great memory." LOL.
Okay.
Hashtag know it all.
Okay.
So funny.
I don't know if that's the thing with text. I don't know if that's sarcasm because he's laughing or not, but whatever, Gooey. We love you, man. So yeah, there we go. We're going to see Andy Dalton, but I think it's a good move here because now Andy Dalton's better than Bryce Young, man. That's it. That's the bottom line. He's better than Bryce Young right now.
you're comparing a veteran that's been there for years.
He's going to get completions there
versus a second-year quarterback.
Right. It's one thing turnovers, stuff like that, the missed throws that were there, wide open, things like that. It's going to eliminate some of that frustration, I'm sure, with some of the teammates there because they're tired of losing. They know they were laughing stock of the NFL last year, and it was looking like it this year. They just got blown out. You know what I mean? By the Saints week 1, lost this week. Come on. They want something to go right. So I think Andy Dalton is going to be a bigger change for them.
I think it's going to be better, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, it's not, they're making a playoff push, Joe.
I mean, that team overall, like even the defensive side, they've lost 2 key players on that defensive side of the ball that there's no replacement there, and that makes that defense a lot more weaker, So, I think Dalton will give him a shot. Like he'll be able to kind of weather the storm every week and just play game manager. Don't make mistakes. Just make the throws that you're able to make or that you're allowed to make, and just kind of try to keep the ball moving down the field. But they have a tough task this week again. And I know like some people will just be like, oh, it's just the Raiders. They upset the Ravens, but that Raiders defense is stout. That Raiders defense is legit, and it's going to be an immense challenge for Carolina to score points for sure.
All right, we've got a new know-it-all in the house with us.
Oh, what's going on, Paul? Welcome to the show. He said, yo, this is crazy. Oh, hey. Look at him. He's laughing his ass off.
Laughing his ass off. What's crazy? I don't get it. I'm sorry. What's crazy?
Not really sure where you're going with that.
Maybe the NFL. Like we said.
The NFL is crazy.
It is crazy right now. There he goes. I thought you were talking about the group.
Oh, love you guys. This is what. Listen,
is he from the Flag League? Is that?
This is what makes this fun.
Here?
No.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. All right then. Awesome, Paul. Welcome in.
No, you're good,
that's
bro.
All good.
He says that's on me. No, you're good, Paul.
Good.
We appreciate you chiming in.
Oh hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
We love it.
But yeah. So, what the hell were we talking about?
Well, we were moving on to how about the Detroit Lions here and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers looking so good early on, and the Lions last week, not so hot. Jared Goff a few turnovers. not for a team that we knew it was going to be a close game here, but for a team that's playing at home that wants to get back to the playoffs here, feels like they kind of let themselves down last year in the playoffs. That want to make a push this year again for the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, he said he's from the Flag League.
Oh yeah, so
Paul
there you
just
go.
He goes from the Flag League. He goes, Eagles, bro. Don't speak about them. Well,
Wow.
we cover the Eagles too, so we will be speaking
What
about
happened?
them.
You guys love Saquon now, right?
I mean, yeah, of course.
you
Like
do.
that dude's a monster. I'm even trying to trade for him in my fantasy league.
I'm just wondering too. Jason Kelsey, every time when he's on Monday Night Football, is going to
Yeah.
be an Eagles love fest, though. I'm
Of
like,
course.
serious, man. Give
Dude,
me a break.
that's him.
Come on,
he's all
man.
Eagles. I mean, you don't want him to be
You
biased.
can't dress
right?
up for the occasion either.
That's okay. We'll overlook that.
good.
But real quick, going back to the
Lions.
Lions, the Detroit Lions. Here's a interesting stat. Their success rate in the red zone, which makes them one of just 6 teams that is below 30% in that metric. So they are absolutely terrible when they get to the red zone. They just can't score. They can't put up points. And that you definitely saw that in that game.
Yep.
Where they would make it there and they just struggled. They just couldn't figure it out. I mean, when you have all those weapons, though, I just don't understand it. We talked about this in our other show about where's Sam Laporta? Like that guy was such a key cog in that playoff chase and that stretch that they had where he was just so involved as a rookie. Now it's his second year. You would think that he'd be maybe a little bit more involved, but also at the very least, he's got to be in the game plan. And so far, they just haven't utilized his talents. And maybe, I mean, you could make the argument, maybe it's because they need him for blocking a little bit more for the first 2 weeks or whatever. But man, get that dude involved a lot more because that right there is going to help your red zone offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think they were able to get David Montgomery together early too, and get the ball running too. I mean, so it's tough though. But with a loss like that, I can understand it. I'll take that one with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they are playing tough. They are a tough team. I knew they were going to make a push back for the playoffs, but some of those ones here you got to win some because there's going to be some.
How about Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
That dude is lighting it up already.
Did you like that? How about that run, that 10-yard into the goal line where he kind of did that double juke a little bit, that little dip move?
Yeah.
I was like, look at Baker with
Baker's
the move,
feeling
man.
himself, man.
Yeah, Paul, what does he got to say? He goes, y'all could catch that ball, though. Yeah, the Saquon, yeah. I know, we get it.
Yeah, we know that. We know.
hey, listen, buddy. Listen,
They pay him
if
enough.
we agree not to, I'm not going to slam your team, but don't slam me right now. I'm a Giants fan, all right? Truce right now. Malik Neighbors, he's going off the whole game against the Commanders, and then that out route he drops, which he should have caught that one.
Yeah, easy catch for him.
Easy catch, and they could go and put that game away.
Paul goes, oh, shit.
No, it's all good though, buddy. It's all good. It's all good though.
Yeah.
See, we talk about everybody though.
Yeah,
See, it's all
right.
good. I have no
good.
hard feelings. Except for the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys still, and we can agree on that, Paul. So how about that?
All he'll say is that he's sorry.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
There
Me
you go.
too. I've been sorry for about 10 years right now, I think. And
Right?
Still going.
Exactly.
But yeah, so Malik Neighbors, again, drops that ball,
Mm-hmm.
which turned into a loss now after that. He feels horrible about it, but you got to move on. What else does he have to say? He had said something else.
Said, "Fuck the
Lions for
Cowboys."
sure. F the Cowboys. I like that.
That's
Great coach. What the F is going on? What's that one for? Trying to catch up with some of that, but is that Mike McDonald? Is that who's talking about? Who is he talking about?
It says MCDC, so I'm not really sure.
Okay, sorry. We're tough with the he's a F the Cowboys. All right, there you go. We're terrible with acronyms and things like that. So by the way, so we're like
Well, he's
Anchorman
trying
out
to
here.
say
We'll try and
something, but
read,
you should probably
read,
just spell it out.
read the monitor. You'll read whatever is on the monitor here, the teleprompter. All right, how about How about the Green Bay Packers getting it done with Malik Neighbors too? Just running
That's
the ball.
ridiculous.
Josh Jacobs, 151 yards, I think, rushing somewhere
Mm-hmm.
around there. Amazing. But now we're hearing that Jordan Love is practicing.
Oh, you mean Motor City Dan Campbell?
Oh. There you go. So you got to spell it out for me. I didn't know that was like a nickname for him. I like it though.
Dan Campbell.
I thought he was talking about Dan
What
Campbell.
about it?
but
I mean,
wasn't
there's nothing
sure.
wrong with him. Like, there's nothing wrong with that team. It's just
he'll get it going.
they just have to iron out some wrinkles, is all. So, like we just mentioned, like you got to utilize Sam Laporta more down in the red zone. You know, in order to help you move the ball and to score points. So it's like that right there just has to happen, and it will happen because he was so important to them last season. It's you can't. Like this season, you just can't use him. Like he is that important for them.
He's a Pat McAfee fan, so McAfee must use that acronym for him. So that's why I don't get it. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's all right. But it's only 2 weeks. Like, it's fine. Like, I mean, they're gonna listen. They go through certain game plans just don't work. You know, and when you go through the week and you install it, and then when the game is there, you can make minor adjustments, but you're not going to really change. You can't change, in the middle at halftime or anything like that too drastic. But yeah, so like
Tom Leiter's in the house. He says F the
"What's
Cowboys
going on,
too."
Tom?" Yeah, good job. Everybody's following suit.
He pulls out.
So, but yeah. I think, Detroit's going to get it figured out, and they'll be right back in the hunt. Like, I have no concerns about the Lions.
Yeah. So
And you got to remember, like, everyone's overblowing the loss to the Buccaneers. It was only a 4-point difference. The Lions could have easily have won that game, but they just made too many mistakes and didn't execute in the red zone, like we mentioned.
A couple others here. How about the San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings and Sam Darnold? The Vikings looking strong right here.
Yep.
So, I mean, you talked about in the preseason, and especially when we did our preview for the division, the Minnesota Vikings, and that Sam Darnold would be the starter anyways, no matter what, if J.J. McCarthy was healthy or not.
Right.
And look, it looks like that he's showing that he proved that he should be. He's controlling the football, you know what I mean? Not making really dumb mistakes and things and moving it. Shown he could throw deep, got it to Justin Jefferson a few times in the previous game and in last week. But then last week, Justin Jefferson has a bit of an injury. He seems like he could be coming back healthy.
It will be back
this week. So that would be big for them because the offense runs around him. Absolutely. But you can't slouch on, Aaron Jones either, though. So this team, under their head coach, has run really well. The defense, surprisingly enough for me, has looked pretty good too. So that was a surprise, even though they were at home in Minnesota, to defeat the reigning NFC champions right here, the 49ers.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at all that the Vikings won. Like I even mentioned it, that I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, and it did because Sam Darnold has been playing. He fits this offense to a T, and with those weapons, he doesn't even have all of them yet. Like, Jordan Addison hasn't even played yet. So he may play. He's kind of like 50-50 right now for this week. But if he does, now you got another extra weapon that you can throw the ball to. So I think this team is on the rise. They're definitely playing at a very high level early this season and see if they can continue that. One other thing that I'll say, too, is a win-loss record thus far for teams quarterbacked by Carr, Baker, Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Justin Fields. They have the win-loss record that is absolutely killing people. Like, they're 8-0 when they're starting for a team. So they are lighting it up so far in the NFL.
All right, we got a couple of chats coming through
Paul
here.
said,
Paul says,
yeah, Tom. Paul goes, skull, because we talked about the Vikings. And then Tom goes, F the whiners, too.
Nice.
Paul comes back, I just like Brock.
Yeah.
What's
up, Zach?
What's up, Zach? Zach, what's going on? Is he watching?
I don't know.
Time goes. Geno Smith is as clutch as it gets, and you know what? You're seeing the Geno Smith from 2 years ago, like we were anticipating him to be. So yeah, the Seahawks, they are right back in the in the hunt. So
yeah, that's gonna be a tough division. Especially
definitely.
if the 49ers are, not exactly going to be dominating.
Aaron and the Jets, Aaron the Jets, though, could be scary. They could be, but they're not yet.
Right.
The offense is lacking in terms of chemistry and it definitely shows on the football field. Defensively, I know
They could
Jim
be better,
mentioned
though,
this
too.
before that they're not up to par. And I know that they've gone through a couple changes. They're still waiting to resolve that Hassan Reddick ordeal to get another pass rusher there, but we'll see how that team goes as it moves forward. Sam could be MVP. Yeah. What? It's possible, man. Like, if he continues to play like this, it's very possible. And Paul goes, Carr need to be talked about more. I don't care. You're absolutely right.
Hey,
on
we got
this
somebody
show,
that's on our. Oh my gosh!
on this
Hashtag
show,
know-it-alls.
we have been nothing but Derek Carr supporters. So we totally agree with you.
And plus our other show, same thing.
He goes, not MVP for Dam.
I don't know.
Comeback player. Reddick should have never left. Well, it wasn't up to Reddick. The
No.
Eagles traded him.
No. The Eagles
So-
traded him, and he wasn't going to play for either team. It looked like.
He just wants more money.
Yeah.
right now.
Carr is definitely comeback player of the year. I don't know about MVP.
Sam
Though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sam Darnold.
That's what he was talking about.
Could
Sam
see that.
Darnold, MVP.
But I'll tell you this
No.
right now: if Carr keeps up the pace that he's at too, he could be in that MVP race as well.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing is like we get pleasantly surprised sometimes with guys that we kind of just automatically write off, and then boom, they all of a sudden get into the right situation and they just kind of take off in terms of production. So
Now he says Sam Darnold MVP or comeback player. My fault. Yeah, that seems right. I like that one too because again, we saw
way.
like Joe Flacco get it last year. If he continues to play like this, I mean, why not?
got
a guy
another
that
know-it-all
was-
in the house.
All right.
Daniel
Oh, man.
Shawman is coming. What's going on, Dan? Welcome to the show. He said Chargers at Pittsburgh. Which defense plays better? I'm gonna say. Here's what I'll say. I'll say Chargers defense is going to play better because Pittsburgh is susceptible to the passing game. Their pass defense is not very good, so they can be taken advantage of in the passing game. Where I know the Chargers are seen so far as this like run heavy offense, but I'm waiting for the time when the run doesn't work and now they got to throw the ball. They definitely have the quarterback to do it. I question the weapons. So we'll see how that changes and how that goes into that game. What could happen with that? Said Sean, welcome to the show, brother. Sean Basilion says Carr literally MVP as of week 2. There's no debate. It's not Mahomes. Absolutely not. It is not Mahomes at all. I don't see Mahomes being MVP. The way he's playing right now, come on, guy. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. But, yeah, Carr has a shot for sure.
Well, Carr, yeah. If he keeps playing this, absolutely. He's going to be in the front run, especially early. To answer the Pittsburgh thing, which defense plays better? I think Pittsburgh's defense is going to play good. It depends. Because I think the Chargers are going to win this game. They're both going to run. But,
Unless the run doesn't work.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And I think then you got to go to quarterback. And this
Which
is where you're
Herbert
going to be
is
starting.
better.
Herbert's going to, perform better against
And then
that
it
defense.
comes down to weapons,
Yep.
where Steelers have better
They have
weapons.
better weapons. So
It'll be weird.
yeah. So what
but
you're saying is Justin Herbert should just say, "I want to trade me to Pittsburgh."
Trade him to the Raiders,
There you go.
please.
Okay. So what else? Tom Leiter
Leiter.
says Seattle secondary. Boom.
2.0. Yeah, I mean that secondary is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are fun to watch too. Like the Seattle Seahawks defense is now fun again to watch. Everybody.
Yeah.
So make sure you get a chance to do so. I do. I like that team a lot. Paul goes, but also depends on how Red Rocket plays though. For Carolina.
For Carolina.
Yeah, I mean he's starting with the Panthers. Like, listen, he's gonna do better than Bryce Young just because he has that experience, just because he's gonna get the ball out of his hands quicker. He's very decisive. He can anticipate better. So I definitely expect them to play better as an offense, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win a bunch of games. Sean goes,
Right.
Joe, love you, brother. Keep up the good work. Go Titans. Sean's a Titans fan, everybody.
fan. How about that?
Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Yeah. What is Will Levis
Love you
doing,
too,
buddy?
bro.
Yeah, giving up the games.
Yeah.
Just like that again.
Yeah.
Opportunities to win. They could be 2-0 right now. You know what I mean? And now they're sitting there at 0-2 because of the bonehead mistakes that he's doing.
Both games were given away by Will Levis.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. All his fault. You know, and again, technically, a half year in or so like that. So now this is technically his rookie year in a sense, I guess, moving forward. So you're going to have some of those mistakes. And, his head coach is letting him know it too, reaming him out this and that. So if he listens, and doesn't want to get yelled at like that, that's the key, that's the thing. And sometimes too, some of these coaches, I think sometimes they're afraid to do something like that or even attack it that way. I'm glad he did. And he did in front of people and things like that. Cause you do sometimes it's a bonehead, stupid thing. You show that to somebody and you say, this play is going to be a positive play. Yeah. And people are going to say, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, what are you doing? Like any, person knows that that's not going to work, Yeah.
Paul goes, yo, I can't lie. Is awesome to be able to type in a chat and y'all talk about it. Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
That's what we do, man.
The whole point of our show is to be interactive with the fans out there and give you guys a voice and we can be able to have discussions. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tom said, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. What? Because we're getting lost in the chat.
Maybe Levis. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, maybe.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It was his fault, though.
Sean said Levis handing out L's like he's Santa Claus giving back to the kids. You're absolutely right, man.
Winners don't use drugs.
It's insane.
And winners don't drink mayo in their coffee.
Yeah.
and eat bananas through the skins, So, all right. What do we got here?
Paul said, makes me either think my thighs are smart or dumb. Okay.
Oh my God, that's good stuff. I like that one.
Danny said Dalton is the Red Rifle unless he got a new nickname. Nope, he still hasn't got the same nickname. Just nobody calls him by it.
Yes, nobody really calls him by it. Yeah, that's right. I like
on
some
this
of the
show we
nicknames
will.
they come up with, though.
On this show we will.
Yep.
Thoughts? I don't know how to spell first time
They call
around.
him the Red Raider too.
Yeah. Tom Leiter 0-2 versus 2-0.
That's right. Speaking of 0-2, 2-0, and stuff like that, how are you guys fantasy teams doing out there? Let us know too. Talk some fantasy if you want to. We don't care. Yeah. We were just doing some reviews for some fodder tonight. We have an article to cover. I did bring back Joe, the milk carton missing player of the week. So, how about that?
Fantastic.
We'll do that in just a little bit, too.
He goes, yo, mayo and coffee is crazy, Paul said. Yeah, but that's the thing is Will Levis, before he got drafted, he would do these things in college anyway. When he was in college, he would do these challenges like on YouTube and stuff. He had his own channel, and he'd do these crazy things where people would say, hey, try this, and he would try it. And he would mayo and coffee was one of them, and the other one was eating a banana whole with the peel on it and everything.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's pretty wild, some of the things these guys will do.
Absolutely. All right, what else we got here?
Paul said, wait, are y'all in the flag league? Yes, I am. Yes, sir.
Yes.
I run two teams.
He's in the league. I'm on the group, because I was in the league for a year. But we love everybody out there, though.
Yeah.
We love talking football, and Joe loves the
You'll
flag
see
league.
me there. You'll see me
absolutely.
on Sunday.
Yeah, you'll see Joe. You can't miss Joe. You know what I mean?
You can if
I
you
don't
close
know.
your eyes.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, boy.
Tom goes, I'm undefeated 2-0 in fantasy. Always draft a bell cow first. That is his dropping his knowledge to
there
everybody
he goes. That's
out
what
there.
he does.
I think it depends on the.
That's like an old school.
It depends on the method. It does because that my mentality has changed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a full PPR, and that is more valuable to get catches, to get points through your catches. So wide receivers to me now are more important than the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you still want a decent running back. You don't want to go too low to where you're desperate. But I would early on, I'll take receivers over running backs. What we got? Else we got? Paul said, "What teams?" So we got Dirty Birds that plays in the rookie division, and then Sour Patch Kids plays in the pro.
There you go. Quick stat on Andy Dalton. Last time he played for Carolina, he played. He was 34 for 58 for 58%, 361 yards. 2 touchdowns, and a rate at 42. right?
That's great.
No, 88. 88 is his rating.
That's great. But he's
which
on a
isn't bad,
different
though.
team in a different situation, different offense. So we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, there's a different team there. I'm just saying how he performed, not too bad for, just a little bit of time in there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll do better. Like I said, if you put that stat next to Bryce Young's right now, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, Paul said, 361, come on, how do you bench that? He goes, I don't care, 361. Well, that's not about benching. Like, listen, he's had his fair share of mistakes, guys. Like, he's turned the ball over in critical moments, and that's kind of why the Bengals ended up moving on from him.
Yep.
And then he's kind of been on this, like, quarterback, musical chairs, trying to find the right team to hopefully start again. And now he's just deemed as a backup. He's a little older, and he ended up with Carolina. So, it is what it is now at this point for him in his career. Like, now he's going to be the backup guy. Now he's going to start this week. Let's see what he can do. And I don't know how the chemistry is going to work between him and new head coach Dave Canales, who also calls the plays. So that'll be interesting to me, too, to see how aggressive they call the plays and how much they try to push the ball down the field. Paul goes, but after Young, you have someone that can play for him. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the whole reason. Insurance policy. You brought in Andy Dalton as that insurance policy in case things got rocky, in case you think that you still believe that you could turn things around early. And that's what led to this decision, too. It's like Dave Canales, this is not his quarterback. He didn't draft Bryce Young. So he has no ties to him. Like, he can do this and make this decision and move on. And you got to look at it for what it is. If Andy Dalton actually helps them play better and maybe enough to win more games than originally thought, kudos to them. It's a good decision. But if you play him and it doesn't go anywhere and doesn't get any better, then it's just it's something that they tried that just didn't work. But I think that Bryce Young, here's the crazy thing. It's only his second year. Like, it's the beginning of his second year. His rookie year was abysmal. The pass protection was terrible. This year, it's different. The pass protection's better, but the weapons aren't there.
Mm.
So I think that's the bigger part of it, is that he doesn't have any standout weapons that are really going to help him. And he just needs more time, and that team needs to continue to build, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right, what else we got?
Paul says he thinks Young is done. I don't think he's done. He's definitely going to get if Carolina does move on from him, he will definitely get another opportunity somewhere else.
Also don't think he's done.
Oh, you don't think
he's done?
Okay.
Yeah, which again.
Yeah, he'll get an up.
He's young enough. That's what I mean. Set him back. See, maybe he's going to learn, and just don't throw him in the fire.
He's pissed now. Mm-hmm. Like he is super pissed. Like I don't even know like how you could convince this kid to come back strong and like he'll do his thing, but like now there's an underlining feeling towards the organization and the coaching staff. And let's just say Andy Dalton goes in there for 4 games, plays terrible, and they're like, "All right, hey Bryce, we're gonna put you back in the lineup. You good with that?" "Yeah, I'm good with it, but I don't like you guys." You know what I mean? Like, so that could make a rift to where who knows what happens in the future. But is it playing on a different team? Possibly. But in the end, like this kind of decision making this early, it's very sensitive. Let's see. He goes. Tom said, "Send Young to Seattle if you are giving up on him." Yeah, there's a lot of teams I feel like that would love to acquire him, even if it is right now. Have him sit behind whoever they have at quarterback, learn, especially learning the new playbook and whatnot, and then develop him into next season and have a real quarterback competition. So, yeah, it's a possibility. I don't think Carolina's going to give up on him right now. I mean, being that it's only the beginning of year 2 for him, I would be shocked, to be honest, to give up on a draft pick that you picked real high, number 1 overall, be too soon. Paul said, did you all see that a trade for Stanford might happen? Very slim, but there's rumors. Stanford.
Who? Stafford? Maybe.
Stafford?
Is that what he's trying to say?
If it's
Not
Stafford, there's no way.
That's crazy.
There's no way that's true at all.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Stafford, that's not going to happen. No way. They don't have anybody to replace him. They're not going to trade him now. When can I get on this and talk?
Nice.
Paul goes, I stir the pot.
Nice. We like it. Why not?
Yeah, there's a group chat that we have actually for Football on the Know members.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can go in there. You can chat it up. You can talk your shit. Do whatever you want to do in there.
That's right.
But yeah.
Plug it. That's right. Football on the No Show group. There you go. That's pretty much it. So join that group. You guys can post comments, articles, whatever you want, and things like that. And yeah, and
I'm not really. I mean,
fine.
honestly, I'm not really active in that chat that often because I'm just like too busy trying to work on the show. But yeah, like if we have time, we'll pop in there once in a while. Also, fantasy questions that anybody might have, like whether it be on the show or in the chat, feel free to ask. Dan says, New York Giants, will they win more than 3 games this year?
Yes.
Jim says yes. Jim says yes.
There you go. I said it was bad, but
I don't know anymore.
Win more than 3, yes.
I don't know anymore.
All
this
right, we'll
team
see.
is not playing as well as I
there.
thought they were going to play.
Yeah, that's true too.
And it's kind of, it's only 2 weeks into the season, so a lot can change.
Yeah,
but
they should have won
right
last
now,
week if the kicker was healthy.
Right now, it doesn't look like it can.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's different, definitely different from when we did our episode when we went over the Vegas win-loss, over and under.
The odds?
The odds.
Yeah.
Yes. So definitely different from that.
Yeah, Paul
but
did,
some of those are even, I think the 49ers now, if they keep struggling.
Yeah, Paul
have
did
injuries,
confirm that it's Stafford.
That is wild.
Tom goes know-it-alls.
Yeah, there you go. Where'd you hear that
Football No-Show group, it's valid. No, it's Football on the No. So it's a play on words, so it's KNOW. Football on the No Show. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're there. Thumbs up. Share it to all your friends and family members. And that's what this show is all about. We're about interaction. We're about talking to you guys as well as getting into some topics. And Paul goes, Hunt will be lucky to, or I wonder what that means. Haunts. It says haunts, but I know it's not that.
This is why he wants to get on the show, because the typing is no good for him.
Don't type so fast, Paul. Just slow the typing down a little bit.
Oh, man. All right, I see you don't score 3 touchdowns and lose to 7. Yes. Yeah. Paul,
I love the interaction. We love you. We love it too, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
We love it too.
Joe, so we don't need to cover any more other games. We just covered a whole bunch of stuff.
Listen,
I don't think I have any more to talk about.
Let's leave it. We'll leave it up to the chat that's going crazy right now. Like if you guys want to talk about any game or a situation or anything like that that happened in the prior week, we're down for it. Also, we are going to be. You want to just get into the picks at this point?
Let me bring up.
Or
what time is it? It's 9:50.
10 o'clock.
Let me bring up the milk carton missing player, and then we will do. Let's look at that article quick and just see what people's thoughts are. It's basically a question out there, right? All right, so I'll do the question first. Actually, let's just roll with what the things are doing. Yeah. I know everybody's lighting up the chat out here, but now we got everybody out here. Right. I looked at an article. Mm-hmm. It was on Yahoo Sports, right? Mm-hmm. And they were talking about the amount of percentage that kickers now make 50-plus yard field goals. And they were talking about now have kickers finally reached this spot because, they've been moving kicking back to change how spot on these kickers were, Belichick was part of that. They're like, hey, well, it's almost automatic. So we got to change to kicking up. So it's harder for them. So now the extra points are back farther and all this other stuff. But now some of these guys are hitting these 50-plus, field goals consecutively. And it's a trend here. Let's look at this graph here that shows you actually right here. And it shows you that it has, in the last season or two, skyrocketed. I know, Joe, you can't really see that around there. I'll bring it
No.
over here and blow it up for you. So you can see right there on the chart, see the difference between the year or so? It just jets all the way up there.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think about changing kicking rules again, or just leave it alone? Just leave it alone. What it is, or just should anything be done? So let us know in the chat what you guys think about that. In the meanwhile, what has everybody else been saying?
Well, Paul's just giving his opinions on every team in the league.
There you go. So that's why it's just
Eagles are shot. Saints are up. Giants dead. Cowboys are normal. Cardinals are low key scary. Kickers are scary. Browns overpaid. Dan says the Wizard of Boz has been great from 50 plus yards for the Steelers, and he has. He's been amazing. Yep. Bills are super screwed. So funny. But anyway, kicking rules. So I don't know about the current kicking rules. I hate. I just don't like the current kicking rules at all. I think they need to go back to the traditional way of kickoffs. That was just more exciting, way more fun. I know they're trying to dampen the impact that the returner and tackler, can, on a collision. I get it all. It's like for safety reasons and whatnot. But come on, this is football. This is the game that got so immensely big for a reason, because we love to see the hard hits. We love to see the tremendous tackles that are made and big plays and the kickoffs. Honestly, this past, in the Hall of Fame, the past voting that transpired, the big time kick returner, he wouldn't have made it in the Hall of Fame if they had these type of kicking rules currently. So
right, and the thing is, this is what you do. This is what happens. They changed it, Joe. So now everybody's got a different opinion. They're like, well, it's not exactly perfect. It's not good enough. So let's do some more. And now that you've changed it, you have to keep changing it enough. Now you got to meddle with it. If you just left it alone, it's just alone, and it is what it is. Because now everybody's talking about different changes, everything else. We just literally changed the kicking from extra points and things like that, and blah, blah, blah. Now you want to adjust the field goals, like you said?
No.
What would you do? And don't bring it up if the NFL's not bringing it up. Don't stir the pot. And then also kickoffs, like you said. They've changed that a few different times, and now look what they've done. And now teams have counteracted this change. So you can see the teams don't want it, because look at the kickers just kicking it into the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, now you guys are touching back again. We didn't want that. We want you guys to return it now. I'm like, well, what do you want, NFL? You told us before that we were returning it. It was hurting people too many times. So then they moved it back. So then we had to kick it to the end zone. And then fans didn't like that. So now we have to change it again. So then potentially there could be a kick return. But the kicking team doesn't want to deal with all that crap and the landing zone and all that shit. So they just kick it to the end zone and be done with it.
Well, think about it. What's the difference from last year to this year? If you kick it out of the end zone last year, you get it at 25. If you kick it out of the end zone this year, it's only 5 yards up to the 30. Yeah. So, okay, you don't get to return it, and it's at the 30. We'll live with that.
Right.
And that's the message that the teams are sending to the NFL. Like, hey, listen, we don't mind doing kickoffs and getting down there and tackling people. But with this rule about, critiquing in the landing zone, and if you don't make it in the landing zone, then it's at the 40, and all these crazy things now that you have to be aware of before you kick off the ball. So it's gotten too much. And the NFL does this a lot. They implement something for a year. It's like, it shouldn't be complicated. It shouldn't be an equation to figure out and a list of things to figure out. Should be pretty simple. A kickoff is a kickoff. Yeah. You kick it off in the beginning of the game and, halftime and after every point scored down there, if they return it, great. If they don't return it, cool. Like, even last season, I know they were trying to bring back the returns, but you can't force that to happen. It is what it is. And if you want to try to change kickers and how they kick field goals and stuff, why? Because the kickers are getting better. That's what's happening. The performance as a kicker is getting so much better that they're able to kick 55-yarders with ease. And some guys can kick beyond 60 with ease, like no problem. But so just because the talent level is going up doesn't mean, hey, we need to critique this. We need to change things up and to prevent them from scoring a lot of kicks. Are you out of your mind? No, there's no
Right.
guarantee that a kicker's going to make every kick. Look at Justin Tucker missed in week 1. Everybody sees him as like the cream of the crop type of kicker, the guy who very rarely ever misses, and he missed in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it was critical. He needed that field goals. And, it happens. It's part of football. Leave it alone.
Yep.
Just like they should have left kickoffs alone. They should have brought it back to the traditional ways and just let it go. Earlier in the chat, they mentioned about Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Tom said Tua is proof they need to protect players. And Paul agrees with him. Paul says, I got to go to sleep. Whoever is in the league, I'll see you soon. See you, brother.
See you, Paul. It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. But yeah, so no, Tua, Tom says Tua has to be protected. The NFL's got to protect all these players. And they do.
Mm-hmm.
They have implemented rules and regulate. Think about the quarterbacks, how protected they are, how protected receivers are. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is getting protection in terms of the rules and regulations in gameplay. However, it's the own players and sometimes their actions on the field that puts them in dangerous positions. Look at Tua and his new concussion.
Mm-hmm.
He had the first down when he ran. All he had to do was slide. What did he do? He put his head down first and ran into DeMar Hamlin.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, DeMar Hamlin, he didn't put his head down, to like meet helmet to helmet. He was going to just perform a tackle, and Tua kind of did it to himself.
Yeah.
Ran right into him, and then just by that blow of him running into the player, he got another concussion. So sometimes it's not just all on the NFL. Sometimes it's the actions of the players on the football field in the situation that they're given. So I think that there has to be, and you know what? These players all get preached to. Like Tua, more than anybody has been preached to with Miami and saying, hey, listen, dude, we don't want you to take any hit, anywhere around your helmet. So if you have a chance to run, that's great, but slide, run out of bounds, avoid the hit at all cost. And I know it was in the moment, but it was a poor decision on Tua's part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, I think it's a bad idea even to don't mess with any of the kicks anymore. This is what it is. If you were going to make a change, go back to the way it was for me.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, oh, these guys are better now, so we got to change it. Okay. Then do that with the passing game and everything else that you've been doing to make things easier for scoring. These guys are so good now. Why don't you make it harder for them to score? You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're talking about. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, I brought back this segment. So, I'm going to start doing this every week here for us. And then a couple of the other ones. It's been a long time, Joe. Trying to get back to the old school ways. But here we go. I've got my milk carton missing player of the week. Here we go. And this is a person, again, always every week, that underperforms or just, again, non-existent in the game, whatever, and it's tough because I don't want to be too hard on some people, especially some of these rookies that are starting and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, sometimes it is what it is. And this week, right there it is. It's Anthony Richardson is my milk carton missing player of the week. It was tough. I almost did Bo Nix. But again, he's a rookie starting out, stuff like that. And I get still even Richardson technically is in a sense. Yeah. But if you look at the stat line again, throwing 50%, 200 yards, a touchdown, 3 INTs, not a very good outing altogether here. 2 fumbles, 2 on top of it. Mm-hmm. That's just one game. I mean, so it's rough. Didn't really help his team out a lot, and the opposite of what, he was able to kind of do last week. Still, completion percentage last week wasn't very hot either at 47%. So this week for me, it's Anthony Richardson is my missing player of the week. All right, Joe, time to get to the pick segment, and then we'll roll up out of here. Here we go. We've got week 3 here Thursday night. Tomorrow night, we've got the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. Patriots have definitely looked stronger than I thought they would. Jets, a little sluggish. We talked about them earlier here. Offensively, defensively, not as good as they could be. But I'm going to go with the Jets here at home with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Tom Leiter said, who is better, Raiders or Giants?
Raiders.
I think the Raiders, too. I think the defense is so good. And then they got, like, all those weapons, So
They
But
beat the Ravens. Who did the Giants beat? Nobody. There you go.
Tom is going with the Jets, by the way, for the game pick.
Nice. All right.
Again, the Patriots, I'm actually impressed by what they were able to show on the football field thus far with Jacoby Brissett and this offensive line of theirs. Thought they were going to struggle way more, and they haven't, and kudos to them. Kudos to the coaching and all that. But the Jets, I think this is one of those games where, like, even though it's interdivision, they do know each other extremely well, especially Robert Saleh. He knows the Patriots very well. And I just think that the Jets, I feel like you're going to see the defense play better in this game. I feel like with Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the receivers, they're going to take another step forward again in terms of chemistry and all that. I got the Jets getting the win in this one as well.
All right, Sunday's games. The Giants at the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland.
Again, Cleveland all the way. I mean, I told you guys I'm going to bet against the Giants always just because I think I'm going to win that way in picks, by the way, because we got the picks competition going. And the Giants, they just stink too, you know what I mean? So if I lose, the pick, then the Giants won, so it's a glorious day for me. But I don't see them winning this game here again. They're no match for this Cleveland defense, no matter how poorly Deshaun Watson might play, but I think he will get better, especially against this Giants defense that can't really create a whole lot of pressure either.
What if Garrett doesn't play? Miles Garrett. He hasn't practiced.
Yeah, I know. And even without David Njoku, that doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
It's not no big deal. Joe, we've got a milestone with Restream.
Oh my God. It's amazing. We received over 100 messages today on Restream. Thanks to all you know-it-alls out there. Really appreciate it.
Know-it-alls.
Thank you, everybody.
Without
we love
you guys,
we love
this
you.
show would not have that kind of
That's right.
success. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Top badge, top commenter. Paul out there. Shout out to Paul. He went to bed already, but there you go. He's the top commenter tonight.
He definitely fluffed the comment section a little bit.
He did, though.
But it's all good.
So, Joe, you got the Browns in this one, too,
Giants,
right?
Tom Leiter goes 100.
100 comments.
Oh, maybe lighter. Maybe it's Murray. Stephen Murray's in the house, everybody.
Oh, snap.
Jimmy, the Giants don't stink, they blow, by the way.
It's like they don't suck, they blow. Like Mega Made.
Right. Giants, Browns. I'm going to go with the Browns in this one. The Browns showed me a little something in week 2, more than they did in week 1. I look for them to continue that. And if by some chance they get back David Njoku, I'm looking for a little bit more of a higher offensive output. So I got the Browns in this one.
All right. Excellent.
In Cleveland.
Steve, maybe we'll get Steve on the show. You want to get Steve on the show like next week or something like that, just for the hell of it? He could talk about. He's got a new podcast.
Let's keep it a secret.
coming on.
I'm not going to let anybody know.
That would be a lot of fun. You guys love Steve.
Actually, a lot of you don't even realize what Steve does.
Steve
Hashtag
is this.
know-it-all.
That's Steve.
That's Steve.
That's
he's
Steve
our voiceover guy. He's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next, the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. Colts, like I said, Anthony Richardson's looked really, not very good. He needs to improve here. They do have injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Chicago, their defense is really good. The refs kind of helped them in the last game here against the Texans. Caleb Williams needs to get it going some more here too. This was a tight one. Indy at home, but I think I'm going to side with the Chicago Bears, though.
Okay. Bears are a little bit banged up after last week. They're in jeopardy of maybe not having Nate Davis, their big-time guard, and a few other players, to say the least.
Tom has the Colts.
The Caleb Williams story keeps going on, and it's not a pretty one. So I like the Colts in this one just because I like a little bit more of gameplay from Anthony Richardson and what he was able to do with this team last season before he got injured. And I look for him to continue that into this week. He struggled last week, but I think he bounces back in this one, and the Colts get a W, and the Bears keep getting worse on offense.
Okay, next we got the Houston Texans and the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota starting off hot. They're at home again. Skull, like Tom says. Houston, this is going to be another matchup for these guys. This is going to be tough.
One.
So if Minnesota can take this offensive juggernaut down now too, back-to-back, great teams. I mean, Minnesota is just punching their ticket for the playoffs right now, saying, hey, we just beat two of the top teams on the AFC and the NFC. Do you see us now? Which I think it's going to be a close game, absolutely. But I think Houston just has too much here, and I'm going to go with the Houston Texans on this one.
Yeah, Texans are really banged up right now, and because of that alone, to me, that kind of gives me a little bit of concerns. Joe Mixon went down with a major injury last week. It looks like an ankle. There hasn't been any kind of – I think the designation is an ankle, but he did not practice this week. If he doesn't practice tomorrow, then most likely he's not playing. And I feel like that's going to be a big loss for this team that has been relying on his running ability. Nico Collins, another one that didn't practice today. Again, we got to look for all these guys to practice tomorrow to kind of get a clearer picture. But again, that doesn't bode well for the Texans leading in. And the Vikings, they're also a team that is coming into some injuries that have been lingering or whatever. But again, a few of the offensive linemen haven't played. Jordan Addison, we're still awaiting his return for the Vikings. He's day-to-day, so he has a chance to play. We just don't know that for sure. But with all that being said, I really do like what this team has shown me thus far. I know it's only 2 weeks, but the defense is playing at a much higher level. Sam Darnold and this offense is really clicking. If Justin Jefferson is playing, which it looks like, he's not even on the injury report today. He said quad contusion and practice limited, actually. So, yeah, check that. He does have an injury designation, but he practiced. So that gives me confidence that he's going to play. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one. They're home, and the way they've been playing against other top teams like the 49ers, I think they're going to actually get another W in this one.
All right, let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles and the New Orleans Saints. Philadelphia Eagles, again, had an opportunity to win. Saquon drops the ball, and Kirk Cousins drives the team down with a game-winning, score, and right there does it in primetime now. So now he's improving that record to hopefully get that stigma off his back. Will he have enough primetime games left to do it? But here we go. The Eagles against the Saints. It's going to be a tough one. Saints, again, I think they are who they look like they are. I think offensively they're going to come out here on fire at home. The crowd's going to be behind them. I think the Philadelphia Eagles still, though, are not even the strong team that they were last year even. So I'm going to go with the Saints on this one.
Yeah, Tom said Vikings at home, and he said Saints and Carr on fire.
There you go.
You're right. And that's the thing, too, is the Eagles are going to be missing A.J. Brown, it seems like. It seems like he's doubtful to play. And without him, I feel like that's a too big of a player to lose on the offensive end. For the Saints, though, they are on fire, Tom. You're absolutely right. And Derek Carr is playing at an elite level right now. This offense is really humming along. The defense is playing really well. Really, really well. So I got the Saints in this one as well. I think the Saints are going to beat the Eagles.
He's saying they lost to Atlanta, LOL. All right, next we've got the Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We talked about this a little bit earlier on in the show about defenses and things. So Joe pretty much summed it up as well as I did when we were talking about which defense was going to perform better. We both think that the Chargers are going to take this game here, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where it's going to be who can outrun who. Because
basically that's what it's going to be,
really
right?
what it's going to come down to. Fields hasn't been playing well at all. He hasn't. And even though that they got a couple wins,
right,
he really hasn't done anything to help them.
Game manager.
Yeah, well, even that's stretching it. But for the Chargers, they have a quarterback that can get it done. So I feel like that's a huge advantage for the Chargers if it comes down to, throwing the ball. I got more confidence in Herbert delivering a W there for the Chargers.
All right, the Denver Broncos and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Broncos suck. Bo Nix not looking very good again.
They're better than Carolina.
I think he had 4 picks last game too. Just very bad. And Tampa Bay's on fire, and now that they get to play at home again, And I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a good day here today, even though the Denver Broncos defense isn't bad, So I'm just going to roll with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on this one. They're going to keep rolling 3-0, baby.
Yeah, Buccaneers playing at a very high level, especially offensively. Defensively, they're already really good. They got a lot of young, up-and-coming players. Yaya Diaby is one of those guys that's putting a ton of pressure on opposing offenses, and I just look for them to continue their success. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in this one.
All right, next up, we've got the Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans. Joe, Tennessee does play better at home. Hopefully, Will Levis will start to play better here and not give up these games here.
Stop making mistakes.
Green Bay, again, they're very good on defense. The offense, they played it safe here. Malik Willis. We're hearing now that Jordan Love is practicing, so let's see if he'll be able to be available for the game.
He won't be this week.
But I think that if it's Malik Willis again, though, I think they're going to try and take that same type of, running game type of aspect here and trying to keep it safe, short, intermediate passes here, so high percentage passes for Malik if he has to. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers in this one. I think they just will dial up a better game plan than the Titans.
Yeah, Jordan Love, it's too soon for him, even though he practiced very gingerly. So he's definitely not going to be ready this week. He has a shot maybe next week, but I still think it's very iffy. So Packers fans, just be delighted that he's close. I think because that could have been a way worse injury than initially thought. So Packers, again, Jim said, great defense. That's what they have. If Malik Willis is a go, they're going to have that same kind of game plan. But the Titans defense, they're another good defense where if they can stop or at least slow down that running game with Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs is banged up too at the moment. So this could make it for a very interesting game. Now, yeah, it's going to come down to Will Levis not giving the game away. But also I feel like that Titans defense is going to be enough to keep them in the game, giving them opportunities. I'm going to go with the Titans at home in this one.
All right, Tom has Tampa and then the Titans too as well. He has Pittsburgh, though, it looks like, too.
He said Pittsburgh defense is what he was saying. That's better.
So does he have Pittsburgh in the game? I don't know.
Maybe
he does then. That's what it sounds like to me.
I'm not going to harp on it. Yeah. We're going to move on.
Carolina Panthers and Vegas Raiders. I got the Raiders.
Really? I thought for sure you were going to just go on a limb and pick the red rifle to beat the Raiders.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you'll need to break this game down, right, Joe?
I think the Raiders hands down. I mean, the Raiders defense alone will probably beat the Panthers.
Yep. All right, next up, the Miami Dolphins and the Seattle Seahawks. Oh, Miami all day. Fuck the Seahawks, man. They suck. No.
Shots fired. Shots fired. You're going with, was it Skylar Thompson?
Yeah. Skylar Thompson again. He's in. Tom likes the Raiders here on that one.
He said F you.
See there. We wait for that delay that finally gets there. Miami again, without Tua, I mean, it's a whole different ball game here. So Seattle, they've been playing good. They play better at home. We obviously know here too. Geno Smith looks good. I like the Seahawks in this one.
Yeah, it's you don't have your starter. Dolphins, you don't have your starter. That is going to basically handicap you. So just with that, even if they had Tua, I still feel like I would pick Seattle because the Dolphins offense hasn't been playing up to par even with Tua as the QB. So I like Seattle. I love their young defense. I like how Geno Smith is playing. I'm going the Seahawks with the 12th man.
Alrighty, next up, the Detroit Lions and the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona has kind of been that team that kind of offensively has surprised, just kind of been on fire here and just, lit it up against some teams. They just let the Bills back
Rams
in the game in the first week, and then the Rams just dismantled them. Crazy, a whole different team. So with that makes this game, especially with Detroit's loss last week, really interesting. So Arizona, I'm wondering if they're going to keep this one, come out on fire again, really competitive to put, some pressure on Detroit to really step up here and win this game, which they will have to. They cannot lose to Arizona Cardinals if you want to make a playoff run and go deep. So on that side, I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona puts it to them and gives them a fight, but I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions. These are the games that you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win these games. And even though they should have won against Tampa, they just didn't make the necessary plays to do it. So I think they're going to come in pissed off. Dan Campbell's already probably hopped up on energy drinks and ready to go, ready to rip some people's heads off.
He's bitten off of some kneecaps somewhere.
And I think that this is going to be one of those games where he just really kind of lays into his players, and his players just let it all go out on the football field against the Cardinals. So I got the Lions in this one.
All right, now the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas goes down in Big D last week. That was amazing to see. I love that the Saints destroyed them. Here they are back home again against the Baltimore Ravens now that have their back against the wall. They got to win. They have to win this one. Dallas, again, I think the NFC East is going to be really tight. And so I think if they come away with a loss in this one, it's not going to hurt them that bad. I think this is going to be close enough here that they can still bounce back and take the division. But Baltimore, like I said, back against the wall. Harbaugh, I think, is going to have them ready. I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to side on the Baltimore Ravens in this one to not go 0-3.
That's a good one. For the Cowboys, they're really banged up. Mozzie Smith banged up, didn't practice, has back tightness. CeeDee Lamb, he has an ankle injury from last week. It's not considered anything major, but it's something to watch for, especially I think he'll play. It's just how hampered is he going to be while playing with that ankle? Jake Ferguson looks like he's a full go, so it seems like they're pretty healthy. But again, this is with the Lions, or not the Lions, with the Cowboys. This is kind of a team for me that's been a little disappointing. I was expecting this defense and the offense together to work hand in hand and get right back into their winning ways. But no running game for this offense, and that's a huge problem. It can't be just Dak throwing the ball 60 times a game. So they got to figure something out to get that running game going, and so far it's been struggling. I think the Ravens are going to feed off of that. I think the Ravens defense is too good to allow the Cowboys to just kind of go up and down the field on them. And for the Ravens offense, for Lamar Jackson, get back to the simple ways of doing things. Hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, pound the rock, and feed Mark Andrews over the middle of the football, or middle of the field. I got the Ravens in this one going into Dallas.
All right. San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. I know when the NFL marked this game up here for week 3, they saw this great matchup here, 4:30, 4:25, and you're not going to see that. There's a lot of injuries on both sides of the teams here, but the Rams, again, losing their top 2 wide receivers is key here for this team. Like Joe and I have talked about, there's some others that are going to step up and they're going to still put on a fight here, but the San Francisco 49ers, they're going to do the same thing. They're embarrassed about that loss last week. They want to bounce back here. I like the San Francisco 49ers to take this one.
Tom said that Dak got his contract and will give up.
He will give up. He got paid, so I'll piece him out.
I'm not sure he's going to give up. I mean, they're trying to win, but he also said he's got Ravens, and he just said
Rams
0-3 without Cup. Here's the interesting thing, is that both teams, are going through a little bit of a banged-up streak here this week. Debo's not going to be available for the Niners, so they're going to lose that kind of running back / receiver factor. I wonder how they're going to go about their offense. Are they going to use Ayuk now on jet sweeps or something like that? So it'll be interesting to watch for. But the Rams, I think that both these teams know each other extremely well. So I see this game as not even being a blowout, either one side or another. But I feel like this is going to be a very close game. But I feel like the Niners are going to come out on top with Brock Purdy feeding guys like Ayuk, feeding Juwan Jennings, George Kittle, and the list can keep going on and on. So I got the Niners.
All right, here now, Sunday night football, Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons. Another primetime game. We talked about primetime games. You got to chew a couple here together.
That's right.
If he could get a back-to-back primetime again, it looks like better in Kirk Cousins' corner here.
That's right.
I'm going to say Tom Leiter is going to go with the Chiefs on this one. Just a guess. We'll see. Chiefs, I think Joe talked about it earlier on. We've had conversations we did last night on the Blindside Blitz. If you guys haven't checked that show out, you should. They don't look like the Chiefs of old still. They found ways to win by, utilizing the refs and things like that. I get it, still have that luck factor. But Patrick Mahomes really, hasn't looked the best. You know what I mean? Just body language. You could see
Turning
it.
the ball
Turning
over.
the ball over. Exactly. Things like that. And now that they don't have Isaiah Pacheco, people act like, oh, there you go. They've got Kareem Hunt back. And so there's problem solved. You know what I mean?
Kareem Hunt's not even going to probably
yeah,
play.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. So, I mean, you should see the articles I'm hearing. They're like, oh, well, this tells you that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just done.
No.
I'm like, I know.
He's injured.
I know, but still, they're like, he's just going to be completely gone off the team now. They're like, oh, now they got Kareem Hunt back. I'm like, this is crazy. But anyways, Kansas City, I don't think they're playing their best football right now. I think Atlanta has more to show us, which they started to a little bit last week. I think they continue here, and they play hard in that beautiful stadium here. I like the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons. I think the Falcons really have a legit chance to beat the Chiefs if they play physical. If they try to just pound the rock and try to move the ball that way, because the Chiefs last season, anyway, were struggling against teams that were really physical against them. And you even saw even in that Baltimore Chiefs game that they just played, the Ravens were beating up on the Chiefs, and that's kind of what kept them in that game. They had the lead at one point. They could have just kind of like taken over the game, but, things happened for the Ravens. Mistakes were made, and, the refs kind of helped them along too. But in this matchup, if the Falcons can remain, very physical and go after the Chiefs, especially their defense, they're going to send pressure. You got to counter that pressure. You got to expect that from Steve Spagnuolo and his defense. The Falcons defensively are really good on the back end. They have really good talented players there that can cover. I don't know if they have anybody that can cover Xavier Worthy, but what I will say is hopefully they have a game plan for him, because whenever the Chiefs are in a bind, it seems like that's the guy that they rely on to kind of just run by everybody and they throw the football to him. So we'll see how that all kind of shakes out, but it's in Atlanta. I think the Falcons have a really legit shot in winning this game, and hopefully, I'm hoping for Kirk here to win another primetime game to shut all the naysayers up. I got the Falcons beating the Chiefs in an upset.
Ooh, look at Tom Blighters. KC, just too talented. Hunt signed back on. Yep. And Mahomes is Favre and Brady combined.
He's the NFL's favorite player. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Brady didn't turn it over this often either.
No. So I'm thinking maybe that's the favoritism
Yeah.
they're getting there too and stuff like that, possibly.
All I do know is that the commissioner needs to step in.
Yeah.
Because he needs to
do
have a
something
talk
about
with these referees,
Well,
and because there is a statistic out there that it is overwhelmingly favoring the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes on how many calls that they get in their favor compared to all the other teams in the league. That it's daunting. That something needs to be done. You can't just favor a team because you like them or you like what the
good for the
quarterback
league.
is.
They're
Good
the
for the
product
league
out there
face
and
of the
things like that.
face
Yeah.
of the league, that type of thing. So something has to change there, and they should be penalized more, because we've seen it whenever you're watching the Chiefs game. Their offensive line jumps and false starts all the time, holds all the time, and they don't get called for it.
All right, we got 2 Monday night games here, so the 2 terrible games will equal 1. Basically,
One good game.
One good game. So the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if anybody's going to watch that game. Like maybe the Bills fans would watch it, right?
I'll watch
it. The Brady factor is what Tom Leiter says. Jacksonville, and again, I had some high hopes that they could kind of bounce back, but now I think after this game here, they're going to be sitting at 0-3. It's going to be difficult to do anything. But the rest of that, the good part is that, say Houston loses this week, and you've got 2 other teams in that division that are still 0-2. So it's going to be, that gives you the chances of getting tight and making this division a little tighter and maybe potentially make a comeback to do something. But the Buffalo Bills playing really good right now. Josh Allen looks really good, utilizing his legs a lot. Hopefully he can keep healthy doing that. I like the Buffalo Bills here at home. Circle the wagons.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of Trevor Lawrence, especially this season. He's not playing up to par. Travis Etienne and his fumble issues.
Yep.
They just make too many mistakes on offense, and that's really putting a lot of pressure on their defense to try to keep them in the games. Against Buffalo, the offense, I'll admit, like their offense is playing better than I thought they would, but and the Bills' defense as well. So with that being said, I think in Buffalo, it's very hard to beat them in Buffalo. The Jaguars have been struggling, so I'm going to stick with the Bills in this one.
All right, here, lastly, we've got the Washington Commanders.
Tom said no pick.
No pick. He doesn't want either of them.
I don't want anything.
He wants a tie, maybe.
I don't want anything to do with that game.
Yeah, see, I told you that. Washington Commanders and Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals got it back going last week. Should have had that win. We talk about the Chiefs and all that nonsense, but that last call was right. It pass interference. Correct call there. Washington Commanders had a lot of field goals. They got to the red zone and stalled out. They can't do the same thing. I mean, that was against the Giants. You can't do that against the Cincinnati Bengals here because their offense is a lot better than Giants. They'll make you pay for it, and they have a healthy kicker, unlike the Giants last week. So this one's an easy one for me. Cincinnati Bengals in the jungle.
Yeah, and there's a chance that T. Higgins comes back this week for the Bengals. So that right there, if there's a chance, it's not going to look too good for Washington. Washington's been struggling mightily with this new defense, with the new personnel that they've added. And although I love Jaden Daniels, they seem to just continue to struggle to score points. They don't even have an identity, it looks like. It's weird. It's like Jaden Daniels, figure something out and run. But in terms of like getting the ball to your other playmakers like Terry McLaurin, they're just not even like pushing for that, which is weird. So I think with all the uncertainty that Washington has on their roster and the way they play, that kind of just gives them a loss right there. So the Bengals, they played much better last week despite losing to the Chiefs. I think they continue that trend this week, and the Bengals get their W.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. All right, so there you go. That's the show for tonight. Thank you so much. We enjoy everybody being out there.
Thank you,
Leiter,
Tom.
Cincinnati is his locked.
Right down to the end.
Yes, absolutely.
But
Thank
no
you so
pick.
much for allowing us to share our show to your group or Facebook.
Yeah, appreciate
all
you,
the
man.
support that you've
Appreciate
given us
you a
too.
lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you. Thanks. Peace out.
But no pick for the Bills.
No pick. No.
He's
absolutely.
refusing to pick that one.
Hey, yeah, he can if he wants to.
He's
He's
a
not in
great
the
show.
picks competition like we are, Joe.
Right. He said, "Great show, guys. Peace out."
Yeah.
Love you, Tom.
So there you go. That's it for the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
My wife hates you.
Oh man, that's messed up.
What did we do to her?
I can see if she hates me, probably. Yeah, I guess. But Joe, come on, everybody loves Joe.
Oh man,
I don't get that. But yeah, so thank you so much again, everybody. If you haven't yet, and you're listening to this after the fact, live, if you haven't yet, join our group Facebook page, Football on the No Show, YouTube. Search Football on the No Show right there. Check out all the videos. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Notification bell, let you know whenever we go live. And thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday night for more Football on the No with Jim and Joe.